What are the 10 best hikes in the U.S. national parks? Well, today we've got national park expert and author Matt Tori, who's visited every U.S. national park to share his favorite hikes. Matt's the author of Go See America, 118 of the USA's greatest hits. All right, Matt, what are the 10 best hikes in the U.S. national parks?
At number 10 in Arches National Park, the hike to Delicate Arch. And that just because it's such an iconic hike, you probably see this image of the Delicate Arch all the time. It's the kind of the state image of Utah. They have it on their license plates, and it's always kind of used in the imagery of the national parks. It's about a 3-mile hike, and it's basically in no shade. So you make sure to bring a lot of water. And it's you're going to have some crowds on this one probably, but again, it's just a victim of its own success where things are popular for a reason. If you go at sunset, it's really cool to watch the sunset over the arch. Number 9, I have in Olympic National Park, the trail to Solduck Falls, and that is in the Olympic Peninsula in Washington. So again, not a very difficult hike. It's about 2 miles, but it's just very pretty. It's basically the best of Olympic National Park in one little hike that you can do if you want to experience the park. It's got all the historic rainforests around you that you're walking through to get to this very pretty waterfall. And it's kind of a triple cascade with a bridge over it. It's not a difficult hike at all, but it's very pretty, and you get to experience the rainforest that Olympic is known for along the way. Number 8, I kind of grouped Grand Teton and Yellowstone together, and I am putting at number 8 the Jenny Lake Loop at number 8 in Grand Teton. It's about a 6-mile or so hike, and it starts from the Jenny Lake, which is a very beautiful lake, one of the more popular lakes in Grand Teton National Park. And you basically go around the whole surface of the lake, and then it also includes a little bypass that goes to somewhere called Inspiration Point, which is kind of up a mountain that overlooks the lake and the rest of the park. It's very pretty. You also pass a waterfall called Hidden Falls. Number 7, I have the Grand Canyon. You could do the much more challenging hike all the way down to the bottom. I think it's like 17 miles or something. Most people do it in a couple days. But if you want a shortened version that kind of gives you the highlights of that, you can do the South Kaibab Trail. And that goes to a point called Ooh-Ah Point. And that's about 3 miles or so. And basically, you kind of go down into the canyon a little bit, and you go out to a very pretty lookout. So you get kind of the experience of going down into the canyon, see what that looks like down in there a little bit, get the experience of what's it like to be inside the canyon, but you don't have to do the whole 2-day, 17-mile thing all the way down to the river if you are not up for that. So number 6, I have in Rocky Mountains National Park in Colorado, and this is the hike to Emerald Lake. And so this is a hike that basically passes 3 lakes. It passes Nymph Lake, Dream Lake, and Emerald Lake. And it's about 4 miles or so. And Dream Lake, I think, is the prettiest one. But if you want to go all the way, it's to Emerald Lake at the top. And it's just a very pretty coalescence of what the Rocky Mountains National Park is. Again, people do backpacking for days and weeks through the Rocky Mountains. But if you want to kind of see some glacier-fed lakes up in the mountains really tall, you can do this hike. And it starts from Bear Lake, which is a pretty popular area of the park. But you need to know if you go that you need a reservation to enter. 5, I have in Zion National Park in Utah. Angel's Landing is a perch on top of a mountain that overlooks the Zion Canyon Valley. And it's famous because the top third or so of the hike is pretty challenging and pretty precarious because you're on the edge of a cliff on both sides of you. Basically, the first 2/3 of the hike through the park, you're going up to the edge of this mountain. You're doing some switchbacks and things like that. It's pretty normal. But then when you get to what they call the saddle, you look up at this mountain, and basically it's a very thin outcropping of rocks that you have to climb up. So we're talking not just, hiking tall stairs or anything. Sometimes you're having to scramble over rocks to go up. It's pretty interesting. Just take your time, go slow. And then when you get to the top of the rock scramble, you basically have to walk around the edge of a slick rock area holding onto a chain. For if you have a fear of heights, I can understand how it would be really terrifying, but it's definitely worth doing, and it's a great adventure for when you get to the top, the great view. Number 4 at Bryce Canyon in Utah. So this is one that kind of is one of the lesser known parks in terms of the big parks in the West, but I think it's one of the more underrated parks. And this is the Navajo Loop and Queen's Garden Trail. And it's about 3 miles. You go down into the canyon itself and explore all of the hoodoos. The hoodoos are basically very strange looking rock formations that kind of look like something out of a Dr. Seuss book or something, and they're all different colors, and you get to walk around them and explore the middle of this canyon. It's a very shallow canyon compared to something like the Grand Canyon. When you're looking down thousands of feet, you're only going down a few hundred feet into Bryce Canyon. Number 3, Glacier National Park in Montana, and I've put the trail to Hidden Lake, which is about a 3-mile trail. If you go to the overlook, if you actually go down to the lake, it's about 5 miles. So there is the Going to the Sun Road in Glacier National Park, and it's kind of the one way in, one way out across the whole Glacier National Park. And about halfway, there's a place called Logan Pass, which is kind of one of the top points that you reach, and you can park there. And you can take a hike to something called Hidden Lake, where basically you walk up a mountain for a couple miles to an overlook. And it's one of the more beautiful lakes that you've ever seen, kind of the epitome of a glacier-fed wild lake up in the mountains and with nothing around. It's just very iconic and pretty. Number 2, it's again Zion National Park, and I am putting the Narrows at Zion. So this is one of the more famous things you see people post pictures of all the time. But again, it's for a reason that it's so famous. This is the Narrows in Zion, and basically you are hiking up a river in the middle of a canyon for miles, and it's one of the more unique experiences in a national park that is pretty accessible to people. Basically, it's a 16-mile stretch of canyon. You can go all the way if you want to. Most people don't. It's kind of a choose your own adventure thing, how far you want to go in and how before you turn back. But you can go on your own if you want, or you can hire some gear. Most people will get the kind of the heavy rain boots and the waders that you can wear to go through, because sometimes you're going to be up to like waist level water as you're walking through the Narrows. It goes up and down in the levels of the water that you're walking through, but you're going to be prepared to be in the water most of the time as you're walking. And you've got to have a walking staff as well, because it's very uneven, very slick rock sometimes, and that will really help you balance, or you're going to be slipping and falling all over the place. Number 1, I had to put my favorite national park, Yosemite, and I put the Panorama Trail. So this is a trail that goes all the way from Glacier Point, which if you're familiar with Yosemite, Glacier Point is an overlook that looks over Yosemite Valley that you have to drive up to. And you can actually take a bus up there if you want to just go up one way and you want to hike down all the way. Some people do it round trip where they go all the way up and back down. I'm not that adventurous. I don't want to do that necessarily. So I like doing it from the top down. So basically, it's about 8 or 9 miles, and it connects to a trail called the Mist Trail, which is a very famous trail at the end, where basically you pass a couple waterfalls called Vernal Falls and Nevada Falls. But if you start from Glacier Point at the top, the whole thing is called the Panorama Trail. And you basically, I think, pass around 4 waterfalls along the way. You have great views of the valley, great views of Half Dome. It's also half of the trail is half of the way people go as they hike up to Half Dome.
Start planning your own adventure by visiting us at 10adventures.com and listen to other episodes of the 10 Adventures podcast on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else you find your podcasts.